Welcome to Sheetalath Conversations. You're watching our 81st Sunday evening Renaissance show. I hope you're doing very well this Sunday. Today was a very delightful day in India, especially in the North India, because we were infested with this by this long extended lull of hazy, mist around. And today sun came like, it came like a rescuer, and we became a bit, our spirits were a bit elevated and we became cozy. That's what life is all about. You can't dream every day to be a Sunday. I mean, life is a bounce between two extremities, uh, day and night, hot and cold, cruelty and indifference, and whatnot. Having said that, today we are going to talk about something about musicology. But before that, I would like to say that our expedition in Shitalath conversation, inquisitive expedition in Shitalath conversation, has gone through drastic changes over its passage of time, and it has come of age through these 80 landmark conversations we had since last 80 weeks. It's a great feeling to be here, having an experiential, enchanting experiential, enriching experiences through these gregarious, contours, meandering through these gregarious contours, and you know, uh, opening and invoking the shades of culture, art, literature, musicology, history, mystery, ecology, sociology, and treatises, travelogues, flora and fauna, and hustle and bustle of life, sleeping towns, streets, and everything around. So that's how it is, and these all things are lying dormant into in the backyard of our history. So somewhere down the line, the people who come here, they try to invoke, create this for all of you to make you understand, may you make you enrich you with those their great experiences. Uh, I think this music is something, there's a great saying. I'm just recollecting. There was a great saying that music is just like it's a language of the spirit. It's just opening up of life through uh, obtaining peace, and abolishing all these disadvantages of life, stripes of life. That's what Khalil Gibran has said. Nadabram is the core word, core, this what you call it, sacred word and origin of sound and music, as far as the Oriental sciences, the Vedic sciences go. And, life is impossible without music. We start, our life begins with music and ends with music. And what would life be? I mean, without a music, it would be like an endless desert. And we have a legend in our Oriental sciences which says that all these demigods, devtas, yakshas, and all these people who are not in the physical form but they are very, very elevated entities, they went to the Brahma, the creator, and they asked Brahma about, giving something to the humanity through which it can at least engage itself and elevate itself from the despicability, from the lower grossness. So that is how it is. And music in India has seen a sea changes over the decades, over the centuries, be it the Karnataka Gharana, classical music, Karnataka Gharana, Hindustani Gharana, all ghazals and all aspects. Many, many civilizations poured in and things got synthesized. In Kashmir, as we know, Kashmir is an ancient legacy. It was a seat of learning, seat of art, culture, literature, and learning. And we have a number of scriptures, travelogues of those times, supporting with the evidence and archaeological evidence as well that music was flourishing in the ancient and the prehistoric times in Kashmir. We have the Abhinav Bharti. Everybody knows about it. It's a translation of Bharat Muni's dramaturgy, and then we have Katha Sarit Sagar. It went from here, went to Iran, and it got enveloped into another culture and came back to us. So, and we have Sharang Dev, who moved from here into the rest of the India, other part of the India, and he created this, what you call the musical Ratnakar Sangeet Ratnakar, which is kind of a syntax and understanding, and which has been accepted by India as one of the great treatises of music. And as per as our mythology goes, our history goes, Sharda Devi, I mean, is always thought to be with Shatatantriya Veena, which is now called Santur. And probably the Santur is a later word. It has come from the Iran, but it is somewhere. Then there are the similarities. All I'm going to talk about is that we were somewhere down the line, the undercurrent cultural things were moving around the globe and in India as well. And we have a very, very great legacy. Our folk songs, our culture, our traditions, everywhere we find the brim of music. You can see the Nandabas, peasant songs, literature. You can see the marriage songs, the hymns. Yanze is a very great word we use in our marriages, and then we have Leela Gans. That's a traditional music we use. That we are used to that Leela Gan. It has been there for centuries, millennia. And then we have Chakri is another traditional form of music, and as well we have this classical, our own classical, which is this Sufyana Kalam. Sufyana Kalam is basically, it is evolved after this amalgamation and two civilizations happened. It happened especially during the times of uh, Zainul Abdin. When Zainul Abdin, I mean, is when Sriwara and this Jonarja writes in his, and this, Raj Tarangani, that it happened, and lot many people from the Central Asia came, and all the synthesis began here. So there are many things, and many things. You have stories. You have the present times. We have people who went to the arenas of ghazal, and other kind of music, all kind of genres of music have been dealt with in the contemporary times. So that's so great about it. Our today's topic is all about. I mean, in symbolic way, we are going to go back to the centuries of great poetry, Odyssey of poetry, given by the great legends of the creation of this Kashmiri language. We can begin with the Laleshwari, the harbinger of this Kashmiri language, her very lucid and very raw, musical, those vaks. They have the very, very esoteric meaning lying in them. But that is a language which has the fragrance and aroma of the soil of Kashmir. It's so fascinating, and it's for the universe. And it's followed by, as you know, Nundarishi, the patron of this Kashmiri spirituality, and the Rishi Parampara, and his shruks. And then Mata Rupa Bhavani, she was a very well-read personality. Her very eloquent, esoteric, all these and this vaks. I mean, they are very familiar. We all know about that. We have read about. And just few days back, we had this Sahaban Satam, that is a day devoted to her. And then we have Haba Khatun's melancholic, and she's my favorite poetess, her melancholic, wandering, and her poetry is beautiful. It penetrates into your subconscious, soul, and heart. And coming to Arnimal is almost a similar story. And then we have a time of, the great time of synthesis of Sachikal, Wahab Khar, Graliari, and many other people who come together in 19th century, and they create some 18th century, 19th century. They create something which is the current identity of Kashmir. It's amalgamation of Kashmir Shaivism as well as the Sufism. So a beautiful thing had started, and it had lasted forever. And then finally, time of Rasul Mir, the Romanticism, the Revolution, and Mahjur, advent of Mahjur, another dawn of 20th century. And 20th century, we have the Nadim Saab, the great Nadim Saab, the Renaissance man, the phenomenon. This is known as Nadim era. He brought experimentation, he brought exponential wordology to Kashmir, that Kashmiri language. His imagery, I mean, is wonderful. And there are so many of his associates along with Nadim Saab. And one of the greatest associate of Nadim Saab was Rahman Rahi. Unfortunately, we have seen he was a robust pillar of Kashmiri Renaissance movement, which lasted up to him. Probably he was the last man, last pyre. He went to the history, he passed into the history a few days ago. And so has passed into the history the last salubrious breeze of Nadim era, the pinnacle of Renaissance, Kashmiri literary Renaissance movement. And here in Shitalath Conversations today, we rise to pay homage to this great son of the soil. He was an, Gyanpith Award winner, literary wizard who wrote prolifically in Kashmiri literature, contributed Kashmiri literature in prolific way, enormous way. His magic of impregnate this substantivity of his poetry, impregnate with metaphors and imageries and pathos of the socio-cultural scenario of Kashmir was wonderful. I mean, it will be remembered in the lanes of Kashmir, tree by the trees of Kashmir, by the rivers of Kashmir forever. He is a man who has been crisscrossing through the traditional as well as the modern styles of poetry. Uh, Personalities like him are very rare. I think with him has gone this wonderful era, which our youngsters should always remember that its eloquence, its ease, its aspiring environment that was there. So today we are going to pay a bit of. I'm going to play one song of Rahman Saab. Uh, I'm very grateful to Mr. Bilal Raja, who has sung this song and composed it, and my friend Mushtaq Bala Saab, producer friend, a very great friend of mine. He sent this. I mean, I just put it as a tribute to Rahi Saab.
गुलाब रोई जूठुम बेअस गुलाब छावड़ निख वइन मिसाल नहीं मन रंब वइन ख्याल रावण निख वइन मिसाल नहीं मन रंब वइन ख्याल रावण
Sugolab roi duthum Sugolab roi duthum Beyaz golab chawan Mechavan misal nemas Mechavan misal nemas Rambwin khayal rawan Sugolab roi duthum Love chapyawan gulalas kin lahar vats havas Love chapyawan gulalas kin lahar vats havas Nat sabak Kustan Nat sabak Kustan Mad majpur trawan Mechavan misal.
So that was a beautiful song by Rahman Rahi Saab, courtesy to Bilal Rajaji who had sent this song. And really, today we have lost a great son of soil. Great salutation and obeisance to this great legend, the last pillar, last abutment of Kashmir and Isa, modern Kashmir. So Gulab Roid Duthum, Baz Gulab Chawan. मैंने मिसाल मैं वन मिसाल नहीं मंस Rambhavi Khayal Ravan. So, with that wonderful couplet, we'd like to pay our obeisance and respect to him. For half a minute, we'll close our eyes and pray for his soul, composure of soul. Thank you very much. So today, coming back to today's program. Today, my guest is one of the most accomplished and famed vocal singer from Kashmir, uh, Archana Jalali Tikoo. So it's a very long name, Archana Jalali Tikoo. I'll be calling her Archana or Archana Jalali during the program. So it is very easy for me. And she is a very household name. Her sweet, melodious, gifted voice and her training under the tutelage, considerate tutelage of her great father, a great legendary musicologist, T.K. Jalali Sahab, who himself is a great prodigy, a proud prodigy of Agra and Gwalior Gharana, and who has trained a lot many number of people, and he's a composer, a musician, and a trainer. She has worked under his command and under his control, and from a very younger age in childhood, she has grown as a great vocalist, and she's one of the most favorite and most eloquent voices we have across, and we very delightfully listen to her whenever she is around in the on the social media as well as on All India Radio or Doordarshan. You must be recalling. Let us jog a bit, jog down to go to the early 1990s. There was a wonderful program created by that great genius Arun Kaul, the filmmaker, who it was named as titled as Kashmir File, and it had a wonderful opening song. I don't remember its words yet. It was something Vethiye, merge Vethiye Pan Bandiye, something like that. It was sung by Archana ji at that time, and through this song, she became a household name and famed. She got a flip. She was already trained. She had the qualities, but she got a flip in her career, and people started knowing about her. And afterwards, in the same Kashmir File, which was one of the most authentic, research-based, well composed, well filmed series, a very popular series. She continued with other musical marvels, which were based on poetries of the great legends from the past. So she has been a very regular with All India Radio and Doordarshan. She has sung across genres, across across languages, and she's one of the most sought after. The voice in contemporary times. And what more can I say? She was basically, and she has been an alumni of Presentation Convent Srinagar, and she has also studied in Jammu University and done her Punjab post graduation in music from the Punjab University. And she is a well-read literature because she had a English literature as a subject. She has her concerts. She has attended many prestigious concerts, solo and collective concerts in India and across the globe. Besides, she has gone into a number of cultural exchange programs, and she has been recognized, rewarded. Many an occasions at different places. She's a very familiar voice, and I think this goes because she is a progeny of a inherent clan of musicians and music environment of music which grew into her family. Her collection are very famous. They are very popular collection of her songs. They're albums, we call them. They're very popular. I can name a few. Probably one is that ethnic music of Kashmir that has been produced by Vet Television, and then there is some Sazadil. It's about this earlier songs about the romantic and this this what do you call it, Sufi songs. They are all into that. It's a great album. It was very popular. Probably it is somewhere back in 10 or 15 years back. It was there. And then she has Mani Kamana is an album which was created by the Kashmiri Overseas Association in the United States of America. She is. There are many things about his personality. Today, as per the paradigm and structure of this program, we try to evolve and go through and divulge into decipher the personality of the visitor. So, what more can we ask to have such a blessed singer with us? And let's welcome with great reverence and affection into the studio, Arti Jalali ji. Arti ji, you're welcome. Archana Jalali ji. Archana ji, you're welcome into Chitanath Conversation, 81st illustrious historic show. It's a great pleasure. We feel very warm. and very happy to see you in our studio.
Namaskar, Jugal ji, and namaskar to all my audience who are with us right now. And thank you so much, Jugal ji, for these kind words. I'm nowhere, there's so many talented artists around with us. So I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn. And this morning, I will start with a prayer
Yes.
to Ma Sharda, who we know as the Adi Devi of learning. So before we start our conversation, I would like to start this program with a Sharda Stuti,
Please.
and then I will sing Harmok Baratal, Zagai Madono, and then we can just talk about my journey.
That's so wonderful. Please begin. Please begin. That's the etiquette of this mahfil as far as the Oriental culture is concerned. So I will love to listen to your Sharda devotional Sharda. Please.
Namaste Sharda Devi, Kashmir Purvasini. Namaste Sharda Devi, Kashmir Purvasini. Tvam aham prathaye nityam, Tvam aham prathaye nityam. Vidyadanam chidehi me, Vidyadanam chidehi me, Vidyadanam chidehi me.
Wonderful. Great obeisance to our Adi Devi Sharika Mata. This Sharda Mata.
Harmok Baratal Praray Madono, Yi Dap Ham Ti Lagayo. Harmok Baratal Praray Madano, Yi Dap Ham Ti Lagayo. Harmok Baratal Praray Madano, Idap Hamti Lagayo. Poshdap Ham Sher Lagai Madano, Sher Dap Ham Gulab Lagai Madano, Idap Hamti Lagayo. Harmok Baratal Praray Madano, Yidap Hamti Lagayo. Congress mein karmai jawan, Manso lagai naman. Congress mein karmai jawan, Manso lagai naman. Mushtaq ho har
So wonderful, Archana ji. I mean, you already lifted us to another level of consciousness, a subtle level of consciousness. That is the beauty of your performance. And Harmak Bartal is something which is very synonymous with our domestic life. And people treat this song very different. People treat the song very differently. But for us, it's a devotion. And what is love ultimately? Love is also it transcends to a stage and becomes the devotion, and devotion becomes the ultimate consciousness. But you sung it beautifully. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I'm
Thank you,
really,
Jugalji.
I'm really elevated. Ajnaji, you are in Canada right now, and you are in the morning time. Tell us something about how's the morning over there. And before we begin and talk about your journey, because it is said that you came down to Jammu after that horrendous thing happened in 1990, migration happened, and you were till the time you were already 15 or 16-year old. So it was an adolescent period that you spent in Valley. So, in our first segment, as per paradigm and structure of this program, we go into the witness of the visitor, witness of Kashmir. So, let's all know about this ecology, imagery you have in your reminiscent ways. And you also are an alumni of Presentation Convent Srinagar, and it has a history. It's one of the great illustrious institutions. There were not many senior people, much senior than you, which RTG was here, Professor Kellam was here, and many more, much senior also. They all talked about their times in the Presentation Convent. So I'll also like a bit, you tell us about your anecdotes about the convent and a bit about the legacy. Please elucidate.
Sure. So, first of all, let me tell you how my morning is here in Canada.
Yes.
It's snowing and it's about minus 10 degrees outside. And
Oh,
we are inside without sweaters. So then, you must be, knowing how, the morning here in Canada is, usually in the winters. My journey goes back to Kashmir. So whenever I talk about my childhood, I remember Kashmir. It has been a very integral part of our lives. What can I tell about Kashmir? I feel nostalgic. So, Kashmir is greenery for me. Kashmir is orchards for me, beautiful orchards, beautiful valley. When I talk about Kashmir, I remember my childhood. I remember the days we spent there, my friends, my school, my long lost home, eating apples right from the tree and not from the vendor.
oh, that's so wonderful.
So many fruit trees around. So, this is what Kashmir is for me. So my childhood was spent in Jawahar Nagar. That's where I was born and raised till I was about, I think I was in third or fourth grade when we moved to Rawalpura. So Jawahar Nagar, we lived in Mrs. Arti Tikoo's house. We were tenants there. And I grew up in a very musical environment. So music has been a very integral part of my childhood. It still is, and it still will be. Every morning when I used to wake up, I used to hear music all around. My dadi used to sing a lot of bhajans in the morning, and that's how I used to open my eyes. Listening to those bhajans, they're in there subconsciously in my mind somewhere. And when I listen to these bhajans, I remember her. I the musical environment, other than just the regular folk bhajans and the songs, I have been raised in a classical environment as well. So a lot of students came to learn from my dad, Mr. T.K. Jalali. And I used to just play around in that room where my dad used to teach classical, hardcore classical in a very traditional way. And lot of riyaz and lot of practice, he made the students do. So at that time, I didn't actually know what music was. I used to just roam around, play around. I would sit on the, close to him and listen him teach how he used to, form the alap, how he used to teach how to bring tehrav in singing, how to sing with chan. So this is what was the speciality of him when he taught. And these things were never actually taught to me. I just heard him saying this to his students, and it would get stuck to my subconscious mind. I would just sit in his lap and listen, to different ragas, different songs. And what he used to do, he used to tell me to just, just play tal. So just go like 1, 2, 3, 4, just so that I was well aware what rhythm is. Rhythm is a very important part of music. So just to get used to what rhythm is what I used to do while playing around. My mom was again a very great influence on me. She always used to encourage me. She always was there for me, giving me, like whenever we used to do practice, whenever my dad used to teach students, she used to bring chai. She used to make sure that we are comfortable. We are giving our 100%, whether it's somebody who is teaching or somebody who's learning. So her contribution is a lot as well in my life. And of course, the ambience around the house was so musical. So this is a very important part of my childhood that I'm talking about. I was very close to my grandparents. My grandparents, have loved me immensely. I have so many memories around with them. I remember my Dadaji used to come to work, after his traditional 9 to 5 job. And he used to bring so many treats for us. So we used to wait all day for, the afternoon, the early evening, so that we could get those treats. Those were not, I'm not talking about those expensive treats, just little like peanuts. He used to bring mishri makai. He used to bring little candies. So I remember we had this vertical grill, on the window, and I used to hold that grill. I was just about 3 or 4 years old. And I used to hold that grill and I used to sing Papa Jaldi Aa Jana, Saat
All right.
Samundar Paar Se, Gudiyon ke Bazaar Se, Ek Nanhi Si Gudiya Lana, Papa Jaldi Aa Jana. So, and what I used to do, I used to
Very
hold this
familiar.
grill, yes, and I used to just bang my head and waiting for my grandpa to come. So much so that my mom and my daddy thought that I'm going to hurt my head. So what they did, they put a padding on the grill so that I'm more comfortable doing it. So they didn't want me to stop it. I kept on doing it, but it's just that, they wanted me to be safe. So this is
An
what I
anecdote.
remember.
Great
This is what
anecdote.
yes. So this is what I remember. And then when he used to come, we used to run to him to grab those treats. So I have this nostalgic memories about my
Childhood.
grandparents,
And
about
this is
my
the
childhood. Yes,
best part of one's life. Yeah.
yes,
So, and you are brought up in a very great musical environment with such a legend. Your father was, and your grandmother, and you all had the musical sense. And I mean, you told about your grandfather also. He was a personality in his own, a very great personality with a great sense of understanding of the ecology and other things. Yes, further, would you like to share any more anecdote or any more witness outside your home? I mean, going to some festivities, going to some celebrations, going to some excursions, and also about school presentation convent, which I feel that we need to cover because you are the fresher version of the presentation
yes,
convent, Srinagar.
absolutely. So I remember when Cultural Academy was working on this opera. It was by the name of Vitasta, Nadim Saab's opera. So
Yeah,
we actually there used to be a lot of rehearsals in those days, and it was a musical opera. There was a lot of music. There was a lot of songs created. It was like drama, and I used to accompany my dad. And there was a song. Um, it was "Sont Bulbul Beautumai." So
uh,
I was so not very familiar with the word. So I used to say "Sont Bulbul Beautumai." So my dad always used to say, no, it's not Tontu Bulbul, it is Sontu Bulbul. So much so that everybody, all my dad's colleagues used to call me Tontu Bulbul. So Chavare, Tontu Bulbul Chavare. So this is how they addressed me at that time. So I thought it was very funny.
it's very great to know that you, as a child, were fortunate enough to have a glimpse of Nadim
Yes,
Saab's work. That too, Vitasta was a great opera. I mean, after Bamburta Yambarzal, it is considered
yes,
to be one of the great. And Nadim was a magic. He was a Renaissance. He was ethereal. I mean,
yeah.
it is this era belongs to Nadim. If we
Yes,
see,
absolutely, absolutely. He put heart and soul in his writing. It was
he
so
was
beautifully.
bestowed. He was blessed. He was bestowed. He was a
Yes,
higher elevated soul. He was a different.
yes,
You were telling about something about presentation. I wanted to
yes.
ask because we have to
So,
rush. We want to listen to a lot of your music because
yes,
everybody is
yes,
very
sure.
concerned about that art. So please
Yes.
tell us something about your presentation convent story. What is the story of present beyond
So,
MBs and other things? What is the story of presentation convent?
presentation convent was an integral part of me. So,
Yes,
conventees were like very looked upon. So, I remember, the school had a great influence on the students. Um, I used to sing a lot at school too. So all my teachers
really.
knew that
That's
we have a singer in our school. And I used to remember a lot of my teachers used to just grab any time, and pull me into a class and say, okay, come on, can you sing that two lines? Come on, you know. And I remember one time I was in a class, and my one of my teacher told me to take a bunch of books to the staff room. And she was in the class, and I was given this task to pick up these books and take it to the staff room. And I'm just walking around the halls of my school, and what I see, I get pulled in by a couple of teachers. They were just having, like a tea or something, and she said, oh, come on, can you sing like two lines of this song? Oh, come on. And I told them, I said, well, I have to go to the staff room because I have, to do this task. And that teacher tell me, okay, so just one line. So I immediately, because I couldn't say no. I was like little kid, and I sung this song, and then I got into trouble, for getting back to my class a little late, and I couldn't even tell the present teacher, of my
Wow,
class,
teacher.
that sorry, I got pulled in. It's no fault of mine. But this is how, convent, well, they used
Innocent
to
time.
love me. There was Mrs. Jyoti Rana. She used to always encourage me. There was Mrs. Girgin, Mrs. Stephanie, Sister Martha, Sister Gertrude. They used to always give me immense love. They knew that, in any cultural activities, they used to push me, because my the competitions that I won would bring a lot of laurels to the school as well. So we had annual days where we used to do a lot of musical programs. There used to be dance. I also did took part in Nano Nagel. It
Oh.
was an opera. It was a musical opera. There was like a lot of dialogues. There were a lot of singing. There were
Operas were part of Kashmiri culture. I don't
oh
know. I
yeah.
mean, it was not in this part of the state, but operas I've seen. Maybe because Nadim inspired everyone. In all institutions, I think National School, other Devi institution, they all played operas. They on their annual days. So opera was part of Kashmiri contemporary Kashmiri traditions.
Yes.
So, I mean, Archana, I want to ask, what was the institution like? How did you witness the institution? I mean, a bit about, did you go beyond the cultural activity? You went to the swimming and other aspects, the playing and the study material. What books did you study? How was the total? Because, I know that presentation convent girls, I mean, they have this in their head that we are already into a higher, this pastoral. But then again, tell me something more about a bit about history
Yes.
or legacy. Yeah.
So we did use a lot of our time in the library. So we used to. There were a lot of books that I loved reading. There was like Hardy Boys. There was
I know, yeah.
Famous Five. There used to be Mills and Boons, which
Well, then also,
we were always restricted to read, but we used to sneak time, and then we used to sneak opportunity and get Mills and Boons, although they were not available in the library. And there was Nancy Drew that we read.
Nancy Drew.
Yeah. So this was the
Did you
era.
read Charles Dickens, Agatha Christie in that point of time?
Oh yeah, yeah. Agatha Christie was a little later, because it was
Charles
more.
Dickens,
There was
Christie,
Sidney Sheldon. Yeah, yeah. There was Agatha.
Sidney Sheldon.
Yes.
You read formally Sidney Sheldon?
No, no, no.
Formally, no.
No.
I was
I
just a
actually,
novel,
we
fiction
just,
reading.
yeah. We just read Sidney
Sidney
Sheldon.
Sheldon cannot be prescribed in this
I
catalog.
I know. This was
But
a little
I
later.
know lot many convent friends. They used to read MBs. I used to tell them what is there in MBs. They don't. We don't have to tax our brain. They are all romantic stories, and we go
Yeah,
very easily with the flow.
I
Yes, please.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for this.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we did a lot of collective reading, and then anything that we loved, we used to discuss in school. There were a lot of debates in school
Yeah.
as well,
That's
which I took part in some of the debates, and it was something that that everybody wanted to do. There was in the morning there used to be assembly, and we used to say the morning prayer. So basically, it is all these memories have a special place.
Archana,
Yes.
just an interruption before the people will. Just infest me with more because they want to listen more of your songs.
Oh
We'll it a bit and then we'll continue with the convent story. Uh,
yes.
let's go for. This program format of today is also going and swinging and oscillating into the centuries of poetry. So let's go
Okay.
to the first of all. Let's go to the period of 14th century. Laleshwari, the harbinger of Kashmir language. Can you recite some in your melodious tone, some vaks, and followed by shruks of this Nundrish as well?
Yes, absolutely. So Laleshwari has written beautiful works.
Yeah,
It's the sar of life. Zindagi ka sar, जिसे कहते हैं. And she has put this in like beautiful couplets that even right now, if we hear them, it just I feel like it gives me goosebumps.
I'd like to hear them now.
Yes. Goresprucha
Beautiful.
Sasilati Yatn ke banan tat kyana
Beautiful.
Goresprucha Sasilati Yasn ke banan tas kyana Prithan Prithan Thachist looses Prithan Prithan Thachist looses Kehenas nishe Kya thamdra
But
Kehenas nishe Kya thamdra
बहुत बहुत. And if you want to, recite some shruk of Nundrish, or you want to have another couplet, another this vak from Lalishwari, you can do. You can sing.
Actually, let's do Nundrish.
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
So, Nundarish considered Laleshwari
As a
as
guru.
a very motherly figure. So Nundarish has written a lot of shruks, and he has also written some songs as well. This is how he describes Laleshwari. Tas padman porichilale,
Ale.
taimi gale amryat piva, taimi shiv vuch thale thale,
Ale.
tuth me var dito divo. Tas padman porichilale, tas padman porichilale, taimi gale amrit piva, taimi shivuch thale thale, taimi shivuch thale thale, tuth me var dito diva, tas padman porichilale, luk bavel chakaji, luk bavel chakaji, akaji karan siva, sut jana varan Cute me by dito diva tas padman porch lali tutuk ishmay kwasanis tutuk ishmay kwasanis tanizane karith siva tutuk rakzalas puyvanis Cute me vai dito diva time shuch thale thale Cute me vai dito diva tas padman porch lali
Great. Wow, good. Very elevating.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Archana ji, we have not finished your convent story
Yes.
yet. Can we finish it and move on to
Yes.
some other anecdote?
So there was another opera that we did. It was called Sound of Music.
Sound of Music. That's a
Yes.
movie. Beautiful.
So Sound of Music was this story about a man who has a lot of kids, and he gets a governess. And this musical opera was, filled with lots of songs and like dancing numbers. So this was another opera that was very close to my heart.
It was. I mean, the movie was based on it. Charles Bronson acted into it.
Yes,
Very famous movie also on the
Very.
same concept.
yes.
almost. Beautiful.
So we did that, and then there used to be fun fair. Fun fair there were like a lot of activities where kids used to bring money, and then there were games and like races we had. So that was again something that we as students would always look forward to. Annual days were fun. We used to have a PT teacher who used to give us like a lot of PT lessons. So we used to do a lot of exercise. So that would elevate our spirits as well. So convent in totality was a very disciplined school. So there was from cultural activities to hardcore reading to great academic the stature of the school was great. So in totality it was a beautiful experience that we had as conventees.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So now, because we have the constraints of the program, and
Yes.
your journey is through the centuries, and
Yes.
we have Archana ji today in the studio, so we don't know. This time will rush and fly. So let's now come to, before I go to another arena and another anecdote and go to the chronology of events in your life, I would like that let's come to the 16th century. We have covered almost 14th and 15th century. Nundesh ji has come, and Laleshwari you have already sung so beautifully. So let's come to the 16th century. One of my favorite poets is Haba Khatun. And
yes.
Haba Khatun, I don't know. I have read all her poetries and I have translated as well. But I'm not satisfied with my translations. Neither I'm satisfied with anybody else's translation. I don't know. She has put her heart and soul in that melancholy, that separation with her husband, the king who was taken away by the Mughals. And so it's a very different kind of her poetry is herself itself evolving a music of melancholy. I would like Archana ji, because you are here, we are fortunate to sing a song based on the poetry of Haba Khatun. We love it.
Habba Khatun ji has written so many beautiful songs. So if you tell me to sing one song, I get really, I feel that which song should I
Which
choose? Right? So like Vireh Ras has been beautifully portrayed in her poetry. So
separation.
one of her most popular songs, that is a household song, is Sul Hama Roshe
Ah,
Roshe.
that's a
Right?
beautiful song.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So I get a lot of, requests to sing this song, although I have sung other songs as
Many.
well. Neri Neri Suday Yar Chandon, Veri Panane Shaye.
That's a
So this was another beautiful, melody of her. But now today, let's do the one of the most popular songs that is very close to all Kashmiris, Sul Hama Roshe Roshe.
okay. Fine. Please.
Yes. Dil mein thore. Sulhama Roshi Roshi Balumyan Poshi Madno Sulhama Sulhama Roshi Roshi Balomyan Poshi Madno Sulhama Balves Gatsvahi Yusmu Sukatyu Praran Praran Chas Chanye Si Balomyan Poshi Madno Sulhama Sulhama Malves Gatsvayabas Duniya Nyandrit Khabas Pradhan Pradhan Chasbo Javabas Balumyan Poshi Madno Sulhama Sulhama Sulhama.
God bless you, Archanaji. You touched that chord. Hi. I'm a very emotional person. This song makes me emotional. But I mean, you have the versatility and the blessings of Ma Saraswati. Sang
Thank you
so.
so much. Thank you. So,
Viraharas.
so I wanted to, sorry, Jugalji, I just wanted to add a little bit about Habba Khatun as well.
Yes, please.
So, Habba Khatun being a Vireh Ras, showing that in her poetry,
Separation.
she also was very well versed in Sufiana music, Mausiki as well, which is a traditional classical form of our music, of our Kashmiri music, which she's said to have added a muqam in Sufiana
Raga.
Mausiki as well.
That's
And
a raga.
that's right,
Song.
and it's called Rasti Kashmiri. So I just wanted to sing a couple of lines.
Please.
which is followed by a tarana, which is again, it's Mukame Behag, is that what it's called? Yeah, it is Yasmar Mitis Mans Naman Kaman Suiti Gom. And it will be followed by a tarana.
Please, Archana.
Yasmar Matis Mans Chidaman Kaman Suti Go. Yasmar Matis Mans Chidaman Kaman Suti Go. Kaman Suti Go. Waparan Suti Go. Yasmar Matis Sharab Barom Sharab Kuman Saki Tamacha Maschat Purum Nama Nama Kaman Suti Go. Yasmar Matis Mans Shinaman Kaman Suti Go. Yasmar Matis Yariman Binias Tom Tataridani Yariman Binias Tom Tataridani Dirtum Tataridani Ayar Yariman Dirtum Tataridani Ayar Yariman Ayar 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 Yariman Ayar 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 Yariman Ayar 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 Yariman Yariman Binias Tom Tataridani Dirtum Tataridani Ayar Yariman Dirtum Ta Allah Yohasaki Adir Kasan Manawil Hakalahai Yohasaki Adir Kasan Manawil Hak Ki Ishkasan Namudawai Bali Uftad Mushkil Ha Yariman Benias Mushkil Ha Yariman Benias Mushkil Ha Yariman Benias Mushkil Ha Yariman Benias Tom Tataridani Dirtum Tataridani Ayar Yariman Dirtum Tataridani Ayar Yariman Ayar 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 Yariman Ayar 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 Yariman Yariman Benias Tom Tataridani Yariman Benias Tom Tataridani Dirtum Tataridani Ayar Yariman Dirtum Tataridani Ayar Yariman Dirtum Tataridani Ayar Yariman.
Thank you, Sanji. Great versatility. You're the pinnacle of versatility, I can say. Now let's slightly go ahead and because a narrator has to do all these things. He has to put down. Otherwise, time is such a great challenge.
Yes.
Let's go through your Euros to Fame. Let's go to, because we'll come and that's the format style of my presentation. We come and go, we oscillate from one era to another. So that creates a sense of wonder as well. Otherwise, monotonous go by chronology. So you rose to fame through mid 1990s through that wonderful series. I mean, that's produced by none other than another great personality you might have encountered. Maybe he was a relative, probably Arun Kaul, the eminent filmmaker. And it was you became a household name because of that, opening song, the title song. Which tell us
Majiviti
about
Vandaipan.
Yeah, tell us. You can sing that as well, but tell us
Yeah.
about this anecdote, the story of you being with the Kashmir Files. Would you kindly elucidate?
So, Kashmir File has again been a very integral part of my journey of music. Kashmir File was a current affairs program that rose to great heights in 1990. It was produced by Veth Televisions, and the producer was Pandit Arun Kaul. Arun Kaul, a great filmmaker, a great scriptwriter, and I would say he was an institution in himself. So when this Kashmir File came into making, Arun Kaul, Vyat Television, Arun Kaulji, who happens to be my uncle as well, he actually came up with this idea that let's create a music that is very close to all Kashmiris, like the traditional music, and he actually had a thing in mind that we will audition different artists and see who will fit in in that program. So it was not just because I was his relative, so he chose me. So we had to go to Delhi, and he had a proper audition where there were other artists as well, and I think he liked me. He liked my fresh voice at that time. So this title song that we finally chose, gave me very. It gave me a boost. It gave me, it encouraged me to get to more heights. So basically, I was a household name at that time because of Kashmir
And you were
File.
quite young. You were young. You were not yet into your 20s. You were in your
Exactly.
teens.
I was very young. I was very young, and but it was not only the title song. We worked a lot in Kashmir File. We did a lot of writers. We worked on Abdul Had Azad. We worked on Nundaresh. We worked on Ernimal. We worked on Ali Mardan Khan, who was the governor in 17th century.
Shah Jahan's time.
That's right. So he actually had this beautifully conceived program that was very much musical, and we finally
know.
created this masterpiece. So Kashmir File has been, it was one of the most popular current affairs program at that time. It was the time when Exodus had recently happened, and people were really very touched by these anybody who talked about Kashmir at that time.
Came as like a bomb.
Exactly. So it was. I remember at that time there was load shedding in Jammu. So they had a set time that the power is going to cut off between this time to this time. So I remember at the time when it was the time of the telecast, there was no power cut. So the load shedding was changed because the Kashmir File was about to start
Broadcast.
at that time.
Broadcast.
Yeah. So it was, telecasted on DD National, DD International, DD CNN, and it ran about 85 episodes, almost 2 years. And Mr. Arun Kaul, did a lot of work. He went to different places. He actually did a lot of interviews, and plus it was musical as well. So he touched every part.
Scholarly work and musical and
Yes.
filming and composition, all aspects.
That's right.
We'll come there, Archana. We'll stay there. We are going to stay with the Kashmir File for a while.
Yes.
And we are going to talk about Arun Kaul as well. I'm very much fascinated by his Diksha. I was very young when I saw his Diksha.
Yes.
I mean, he is a genius filmmaker. I mean, any frame of his would define what he is. It's very unfortunate that we don't know about our great legends. But just to begin with, this Bhakti period, this Renaissance period, this had not happened only in one part of the country. It had engulfed the entire anatomy of India from 14th century onward until it continued to 18th century and 17th century, 18th century till that time. And we had all the people who were part of this Bhakti movement in Kashmir. I don't know, our historians, they sit in these institutions and academies and they do nothing. They repeat, cut, copy, and paste. Nobody's endearing like Arun Kaulji and other people. So they never connected this Bhakti period of Kashmir with the rest of the India. Although Bhakti period, Laleshwari was part of this Bhakti period. This happened, and this was an organism, natural organism, which happened by the this divine will across the anatomy. So we had Andal, Akka Mahadevi, in down south, and then when we Meera ji and other people, Guru Nanak Dev ji, Kabir, and even Guru Gobind Singh has written about. I've read his poetry. Wonderful. They all contributed a lot for the Bhakti movement. But now let us have a symbolic, gesture towards the rest of the India as well. We talked about Kashmir. Would you like to, have a rendition of any poet of Bhakti period? Would like to have this? Miraji or anyone else?
Yes, absolutely. A great poetess, Meera. Beautiful bhajans written by her, very close to my heart. There was this album that was a great contribution from Lataji and Hridaynath Mangeshkar Saab. They brought this Meera Bhajan album, and this bhajan that I'm going to sing right now is very close to my heart. Nand Nandana Dit Padiya Mai Savro.
Aha. Beautiful. Please go ahead.
Nand Nandana Dit Padiya Mai Savro. Nand Nandana Dit Padiya Mai Dariya Sab lok laaj Sud budh bisrai Savro. मोर चंद्र का किरीट मुकुट जब सुहाई. मोर चंद्र का किरीट मुकुट जब सुहाई. केसर राज तिलक भाल लोचन सुखदाई. लोचन सुखदाई सावरो सावरो कुंडल जलता कपूर अलका लहराए मीना तज सरवर जो मकर मिलन धाई मकर मिलन धाई सावरो सावरो नंद नंदना दिठ पड़िया मन डारिया सब लोक लाज सुध बुध बिसराई सावरो सावरो
Very touching, transcendental, elevating. What can I say? Miraji, and you sing it so well.
Thank you, thank you.
I can't. What word should I put? I mean, I think all your audience, there are a number of remarks are coming. People are writing. They're really loving this journey, and somewhere down the line, this is the concept of this program is also to elevate our taste.
Yes.
So here now they have heard Miraji with such a, power of patience. That's also the idea. I mean, how we should go in life about learning better arts, better literature, better music. Anyway, we'll go back to the story of Arun Koul, the genius filmmaker. First of all, tell us something about Arun Koul in person, because he was your relative. He was also your guru in a way, the second guru, because he was there and then you became the famous household name in Kashmir. Tell us something about Arun Koul, his filmmaking career, a bit, just brief.
Yeah.
Because nobody has yet talked about Arun Koul into the Kashmiri diasporas and all these sites. So I will have a complete program. Probably I will invite your father.
Yes.
But before that, I want at least you give a brief glimpse about what Arun Koul was all about. Apart from his varied, what was his depth? Like, Diksha is something which had fascinated me when I was a child. I don't know about the other part.
So Arunji was an unsung hero. The caliber he had, I wish he could have, there would have been a lot of opportunity for him to actually show his true self. What I find in Arunji is that when he went to Bombay to start a career in filmmaking, you know how it is, when newcomers come to the industry, they're not always welcomed as they should
And
be.
those times it was more rigid.
That's right. So there was a lot of struggle on his behalf, but the acumen he had was well appreciated, and he made a place, amongst his contemporaries at that time. There was Mrinal Sen, there was Umesh Kalbag, there was what is his name, Shankar Bhattacharya. So they actually, it didn't. They didn't get a lot of time in noticing that a person who has such a brilliant mental acumen, is, they kind of welcomed him and got him, working on their future projects.
Okay.
He actually was more inclined towards parallel cinema. So I would say that he wasn't of the thing that Bollywood or filmmaking is all about people running after the trees, hero and heroine singing. So he was more into serious cinema. So he was a founder of this forum that was called Forum for Better New Cinema. So he created this, for serious filmmakers, and people started joining. The people who actually were more inclined towards the
It was that
serious
kind of work.
filmmaking,
You know.
parallel cinema, and this movement was joined by different other people. And day by day, it increased its popularity, and people started importing like award-winning films from Poland, from Germany, from Prague.
France,
So
yeah, it was a
yeah,
very common
that's
destination.
right. Yeah. So he actually he was the founder, and he was the focal point of that
But
movement.
one thing I would like to say, Archana, here is that as a theatre critic, art critic, film critic, I would like to know one thing.
Mhm.
Apart from those, there was also stereotype in the parallel cinema in those times. I mean, I'm not talking
Mhm.
about today. Apart from Pathar Panchali, Satyajit Ray, and these people, unko chhod ke, there was also a very, very escapist kind of a cinema, which could not be familiarized with anything. But Diksha was slightly different. And Diksha was his film Diksha, which I saw. That's only the visual understanding of him. It was slightly different. It was not that stereotype, that hangover of the being a parallel cinema. Nothing like that. ये अखबारी नहीं थी, वो अलग एक dimension पे थी, attract करती थी viewer को. Any
Yes.
viewer with any sensibility would get attracted to his cinema. That's why I say that he was slightly different from this genre.
Yes. So basically, he was kind of in the middle. So it was not, where we are talking about art movies, like art cinema, which is more serious. And we are not even talking about
Commercial,
like,
yeah.
the commercial part of the filmmaking. So he was he had a great balance between both. So I wouldn't say, as you just rightly said, that Diksha was only like an art movie. It attracted like general audience as well. I'll tell you an anecdote
Yes, please.
about Diksha. So it is based on Ghatashraddha. So Ghatashraddha was the movie that Diksha was based on, and it means doing a shraddha when somebody is alive. So that was the crux of that movie. So when they were filming this scene, and there's this father who does Ghatashraddha for her daughter, it was the same day when his dad passed away. So look at the irony that he is picturizing Ghatashraddha and he's doing Shraddh in a movie, and back home,
In real life also, this
the
is
real
playing.
life,
Art
yeah,
is playing in real life, yeah.
yes. So so my Dadaji, he passed away at the time when he was performing Ghatashraddha in the movie. So these are the little memories that we have about him. He coming back to Srinagar at that time and spending. So he had to stop the shooting for some time and attend to the mourning part of my grandfather's passing away. But Arunji in itself is a big name. He was a part of Film Censor Board as well for a longest period of time.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, and it's not only that he worked on Kashmir File and anything related to Kashmir. He was also given an assignment, a science fiction program at that time, which was called Turning Point.
Yes,
So Turning Point,
yes.
Yes.
Now
that's
yeah.
right. So Turning Point was on the media for about 5 years, and it was dubbed in I think it was 10 different languages. So they had different dubbing parts that they did after it was initially telecasted. Arunji was also a part of the commercial cinema. He did
We have
right.
created this categorization: good cinema and bad cinema. It can be
Yes,
only
absolutely. So he did. He wrote the screenplay for Chandni. He was a part of movie Hakikat. He was
Hakikat, the latest one.
No, the
Not
old
earlier.
Hakikat. Yeah, the
Old
Hakikat
Hakikat.
movie. Yeah,
Real, the old black and white.
the old Hakikat. Yeah,
My God.
that was
Arey.
based on. Yeah. He was a part
That's
of.
so
I think that was the
wonderful.
first venture he worked on, and yes, and there was a program Nupur. I don't know whether you heard about it. Hema Malini's Nupur. Yeah. So he was, I'll tell you about an incident. He was working on this project with Hemaji, and in about 13 episodes, he had to return to his family due to there was a family emergency which he had to attend to, and he couldn't go further the 13 episodes. So he was not feeling very good about it, but then he had to tell Hemaji that he won't be able to proceed further because he won't get time to write these episodes. And Hemaji is said to have told him that Arunji, please don't do that. It's such a important program for me. Let's continue. So why don't you write about 7 or 8 episodes in a day or two, and we will pay you enough compensation for that. And Arunji, being Arunji and very to the point and very genuine in his work, he turned down that offer, saying that I can't. It's not a machine, right, where I can just pour ideas. I need to think, I need to write, I need to pour ideas.
Feel, then think.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what Arunji was.
Anyway,
yes.
Archana ji will go on and on, because Arun ji is a very fascinating subject. I'll be doing a program on him.
Yeah.
I don't know whom to call. I'll be calling my industry friends, but I would like Jalali Saab also. One day unke saath bhi karenge to.
Ji.
So, I will schedule it somewhere in the future. But one thing is there that certainly, I really want to, I want people to know more about him. Actually, it's like Leonardo Vinci. It's like those people like Kalidasa. They are not one part. They're not only literature, only music. They have a multi-dimensional, it's like an octopus. So there are certain people with that level of what you call it, the capacities to express in different forms, different art, different styles. So I think Arunji was one among them. I don't know why don't people know much about. लोग यहाँ पे छोटे-छोटे फेस्टिवल्स करते हैं, एकेडमी में 4-5 लोग बैठते हैं, बस यही चीजें हैं. Nobody is learning. We don't go from that Gulshan, Gulfam, उससे आगे जाते ही नहीं है, बस उसी लेवल पे रुके हुए. Anyway, this is art critic जो angry है अंदर मेरे अंदर.
It should come out. It should come out sometimes. It's good to
I wrote very critically. मुझे चीजें जो बोलती हैं मैं बोलता हूँ. 17th century पे हम लोग आए थोड़ा. Let's come down or back to the 17th century now. Archana ji is here, and we are so delighted that certainly we are going to unfold so many more marvel songs, and she will recite here. 17th century, it's a century we know, but all the things. But Rupa Bhavani, Mata Rupa Bhavani is something. Sahibanand Satam to parson hi thi. My mom used to go there because it is considered to be the Dar Girls Festival, something like that.
Yes.
So I used to escort her in my car sometimes, and whenever I was not available, she used to rush and take an auto. तो कहती मैं तुम्हारा वेट थोड़ी करूंगी.
I know.
And Rupa Bhavani's works, they are very, because she was an erudite, she was a well-read personality. Her father was also well-read. She knew Persian, she knew Sanskrit, she knew all the languages. Besides that, she was an esoteric. She had a great vision. So her works are also very fascinating, and they rather elevate the people who really are interesting in. They show a way rather, who are interested. They write in allegoric way. It's never straight, because the darshan is never straight. So they write in. But somewhere down the line, Rupa Bhavani, I think she is the last pillar of what do you call it, Bhakti Yoga of India. Right?
Yes.
I talk about total India. So let's have some recitation of Rupa Bhavani.
Yes. Yivan pan t zyavan pan, Rivan pan t divan tak, Nana prakar gindan pan, Rindan pan t hevan pat. A very beautiful composition by Pandit T.K. Jalali, very close to my heart again. And this was also recorded in one of the features in Kashmir File.
Oh, please.
जवान पानित रिंवान पानित दीवान तक नाना प्रकार गिंदान पानित रिंदान पानित हैवान पक यवान पानित स्यवान पानित रिवान पानित दीवान तक नाना प्रकार गिंदान पानित रिंदान पानित हैवान पक क्रियात कारण युस पान साने मनई माने द्यंतई रात क्रियात कारण युस पान साने मनई माने द्यंतई रात स्वरूप ध्याना युस परस नावे माने मनैत नन्यस जात स्वरूप ध्याना युस परस नावे माने मनैत नन्यस जात वात्सायस भागे आयस परमासरस नारस्त नरस वात्सायस भागे आयस परमासरस नारस्त नरस शरणी आयस लल्लीश्वरस श्री सतगुरस माधवा शिवस शरणी आयस लल्लीश्वरस श्री सतगुरस माधवा शिवस यवान पानित जवान पानित रिवान पानित दीवान तक नाना प्रकार गिंदान पानित रिंदान पानित हैवान तक रिंदान पानित हैवान पक रिंदान पानित हैवान पक.
Great pleasure. Very elevating. I mean, it must have been a very difficult composition.
Yes.
I'm not, great connoisseur of music, but I can understand a bit of it. So, but then again, I mean, you have communicated so well through bhav, through feelings, and the words are so clear. Your vocab is also very clear, and pronunciation
Thank
and
you.
diction
Thank you.
is wonderful. Archana ji, now let's go to an era. I mean, succeeding this period of Mata Rupa Bhavani, and 18th and 19th century. We talk about so many people. There was an era where these people, Sachikral, Nyams, and Mahmud Gami and others, they all came in, and it was a time of synthesis of all these, the Sufyana things, and as well as the Shiv philosophy of Kashmir, and they emerged into a poetries, great poetries, and playing and of these wonderful things, which became an identity of Kashmir, which survived until the modern Renaissance movement happened in the Nadim era. So let's go to this era of 1890. Let us visit this era through these great poets. I don't know, there is one number which is very popular, because I'm taking popular songs as well. People like popular songs. I don't know whether you'll do it or not. Mahmud Gami's, Hassan Sufi has sung Chani Bartal is the same? Is
Yes.
The same? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Would you please like to elucidate this?
trying to see the song. Just give me a second, please.
It doesn't matter. Please, please. Be at ease.
I thought I had written it somewhere. Sorry, I might have missed that song here.
Oh, I see.
Oh, here you go.
Please start.
Sophie Saab has been one of my favorite singers from Kashmir. What a versatile singer he was. He used to remember all these songs, and he was very, very down-to-earth person. And this song is one of my favorite songs of his. Chanya Baratal Ravyam Harutse Avaz Vatsino. Chanya Baratal Ravyam Harutse Avaz Vatsino. Chanya Baratal Ravyam Harutse Avaz Vatsino. Bal bali mai pakyatsi gal katya samsaran. Bal bali mai pakyatsi gal katya samsaran. Kaman suratan gatsanyasi avaz vatsino. Kaman suratan gatsanyasi avaz vatsino. Chanya baratal Ravyam Harutse Avaz Vatsino. Kinsi pari mai sari nyamat khili sahibo aham sa. Kinsi pari mai sari nyamat khili sahibo aham sa. Andukun chas mand chematsi avaz vatsino. Andukun chas mand chematsi avaz vatsino. Sahibo lagai Chani Qadratsi Buddhi Vuchha Nooran Chu. Sahibo lagai Chani Qadratsi Buddhi Vuchha Nooran Chu. Chani Noorup Chum Talabaya avaz vatsino. Chanya baratal ravyam harutse.
Beautiful. बहुत खूब, बहुत खूब, बहुत पॉपुलर नंबर ऑलरेडी हमारे अंदर बसा हुआ है. बट the way you sing it, you again recreate those echoes.
Thank you.
बहुत खूबसूरत, बहुत खूबसूरत. सूफी साहब का तो क्या क्या बात है. So now, Archana, you were brought up in a family where your father, he was a prodigy, a great prodigy of Gharana, Gwalior Gharana and Agra Gharana. So classical music was part of your learning. So let's because you are in Canada right now, I don't know which raga suits, Bandish raga
The
suits you
connect.
there in the morning.
Sheena
Because-
Rag. That's what I would say.
Ahir Barwa probably. Ahir Barwa? Because morning, it's a morning there. And
Yeah,
here we
Bhairav.
are,
Yes. Bhairav
Yeah,
is a
here-
part of the morning raga.
and Yaman, Marwa and Khamaj is from here in India.
Yes.
So it's just- हम लोग उस पे है. So give us a bit of some kind of symphony of your Bandish, which I really love to have here. We are running short of time, and we have yet a lot of journey to do.
So the rag that I will sing today is Yaman. I
Oh,
love this rag. मेरे रोम रोम में बसा है ये rag. I just love the compositions, the swar that it has. मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, कब आवेंगे मोरी मदिरवा, मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, कब आवेंगे मोरी मदिरवा, मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, पलकन सेज बिछाऊंगी वादिन, पलकन सेज बिछाऊंगी वादिन, और डालूंगी अरवा, मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, कब आवेंगे मोरी मदिरवा, मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी 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 प्रीतम प्यारे, मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, मैं वारी वारी मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, मैं वारी वारी मैं वारी वारी जाऊंगी प्रीतम प्यारे, तन नादिर दानी तदानी तोम, तनन तन नादिर दानी तदानी तोम, tanana tanana dirani tadani tom tanana tom tanana tanadirina tanana dirani tadani tom tanana tanana dirani tadani tom tanana tom tanana tanadirina tanana dirani tadani tom tanana tanana dirani Nadani tum de dani din tana deri na nadani tum de dani din tana deri na de tana ni tana tadin taderi na de tana ni tana tadin taderi na dhakir tak dhumkir tak takir na dhane dhane dha dhane dhane dha dhane dhane dha tanana tanana de dani tadani tu tanana tanana de dani tadani tu tanana tanana de dani tadani tu tanana tum tanana tanadirina tanana dirani tadani tum tadani tum tadani tum.
Stellar, stellar. Archana ji, wonderful. I mean, that's another state.
Thank you.
Great. Blessed you are. And I think I probably heard this kind of bandish. I heard there was one popular song of Kohinoor, Madhuban mein Radhika Nache.
Yes.
Usme hai. So I recall that a bit.
Yes, it's a tarana. Tarana is a part of our classical music. It's beautiful. Yeah.
So
thank you so much.
So okay, you have been regular with AIR. We talked about that, and Doordarshan as well. So now I'd like to say that you have sung in many other languages. Dogri is our another mother. And I always say that Kaushalya hai to ye Sumitra hai. It's our another mother because it gave us rescue after we were migrating from Kashmir, and before that also. And the Dogra culture is also very 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 raw, very innocent. Songs, I mean, you can go to, if you listen to Malika Pukhraj today, you can find the feel of the Dogra country. And even if you go to, I mean, people like Almas, you can see their poetries. And there are a number of poets writing nowadays about Dogri. Dogri is a beautiful language. Would you like to share some song in Dogri language with us?
Of course.
Tribute to our mother Dogri as well.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my life in Jammu. Very short, but I really wanted to mention this, that although I was born in Kashmir, that is my Matrubhumi, but Jammu became my Karambhumi. Okay. Yes. So I started my musical career. I flourished, I should say, my musical journey in Jammu. Oh. So I was part of radio, TV, Cultural Academy, and we used to do many concerts around India. So Radio Kashmir did a lot of features, so did Doordarshan. And we went to different places. There were interstate cultural exchange programs where we went to Himachal, we went to Calcutta, we went to Bangalore, we went to McLeodganj. So we covered that part. And Jammu in Dogri, also I have sung a lot. Some of my songs, Dogri songs, are still played at Jammu radio these days. Yes, I remember my parents were in India, around COVID time, and whenever my song used to play on radio, my dad used to record it on his cell phone and send it to me, just to make me feel that I'm still
popular.
Listened. I wouldn't say popular, but people do listen, and my songs still do play on radio. Okay. So there were like a lot of artists, and I have some beautiful memories with those artists too. Coming back to the Dogri song, I
wish you would have sung that song of Almast. That's a beautiful song. I sent you the other day. That was Odire. That's a beautiful song by Almast.
Lalali.
It's a metaphysics. It's a metaphysics.
Yeah. It is Lataji's song. Yeah.
Lataji has sung this. Yeah?
Yes, that's right.
Palaspaya Dogriya, that this song. And
I love this. Yes. So
you can sing any song, folk song, anything which suits you, which you feel like singing, right?
I will sing one of my songs. basically I can sing 2 songs if time permits.
But it needs small.
Yeah,
I mean, you
I
can
will just sing like a sthai yantra so that it's not.
Yes, I understand.
Yes. It is written by Padma Shri Jitendra Udhampuri ji. Mitra o mere sajna. It is again composed by my illustrious father, Pandit T.K. Jalali, and he does, compose in different languages. And Dogri was one of the language that he has composed a lot of songs in. So let's start. Mitra o mere sajna, Mitra o mere sajna, Mitra o mere sajna, Mitra o mere sajna, Tere range rangoi, Tere range rangoi, आओ तेरी 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 ओई, आओ तेरी 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 ओई, मित्रा ओ मेरे सजना, मित्रा ओ मेरे सजना, सैले सैले सुंदर बूटे, सैले सैले सुंदर बूटे, मिठे मिठे पानी के सूटे, मिठे मिठे पानी के सूटे, उचिया चीरा ठंडी छां, उचिया चीरा ठंडी छां, तुगी छोड़ी मैं उधर जा, तुगी छोड़ी मैं उधर जा, मित्रा ओ मेरे सजना, मित्रा ओ मेरे सजना, तेरी रंगे रंगोई, तेरी रंगे रंगोई, तेरी 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 ओई, तेरी 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 ओई, मित्रा ओ मेरे सजना, मित्रा ओ मेरे सजना.
Wonderful. Another song you want? You can sing a folk song if you wish.
Yes. Aungalania Sachuo, Mare Banco dea Chachua.
That's a very great number, which is a song.
It's a folk song.
It's a folk song. Yeah, it's a very popular.
And it's been, actually I shouldn't say it's a totally folk song. It is composed by Ravi Sharma ji, if I correctly remember.
Ravi Sharma's composed.
Hanji. Aungalania, 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 Sachuo, Mare Banco dea Chachu. Aungalania, Aungalania, Sachuo, Mare Banco dea Chachu. Miki pile chale kachuo, More Banco dea Chachu. Miki pile chale kachuo, Mare Banco dea Chachu. Aungalania Sachuo, Mare Banco dea Chachu. सस ननान मिकी चील नहीं दिंदिया, ससन नाल मिकी जीन नहीं दिंदिया ठंडे पानी दा कुट पीन नहीं दिंदिया ठंडे पानी दा कुट पीन नहीं दिंदिया अख दिया चरखा कतबो मारे बांकू दिया चाचुआ अख दिया चरखा कतबो मारे बांकू दिया चाचुआ आऊं गलानिया सच बो मारे बांकू दिया चाचुआ मिकी पी नहीं चल चाचुआ मारे बांकू दिया चाचुआ.
Beautiful. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. You have brought this Dogri, that the spirit alive in us. That's so wonderful. It's a beautiful song. I mean, probably it's a very, very innocent. It gives the innocence and lucidity of Dogra women
Yes.
in 18th century or 19th century or so.
Exactly.
It was everywhere, we can see Arnimal and other people, they had a different problem because they are the frontier state. All these things affect.
Yes.
Now, because you are a multilingual singer, a vocal singer, and you sing so well. I heard that you also, there's one song you have also sung. It is a kalam of Ali Mardar
Yes.
Khan, who was a governor during Shah Jahan's time and who has built this Chashma Shahi. Probably he saw some mountain and he had a darshan or sakshatkar with Shiva's Lord Shiva, and then he sang and put all these lyrics in the shape of the lyrics in this particular devotional song. Would you like to have it?
Yes.
We are going back to 17th century. Yeah.
So Ali Marda Khan was a governor in 17th century, as you just said. He had a sakshatkar in his dream of Shiva and Parvati. He didn't know what it meant at that time. But when he narrated this sakshatkar, he formed it in a bhajan. That's what I would call it. And it's what he saw through his eyes. And it gives a murat of Shiva and Parvati. So it is a little different composition. It is classical based composition, again by my illustrious father Pandit T.K. Jalali, and we did it for Kashmir File segment. So in Kashmir File we did a lot of work, so that's why we get all this variety of songs, be it Nundaresh, Arnimal, Lalidet, to the modern poets, the folk poets, like the Abdul Ahad Azad, Nyamasab. So we are talking about centuries together, and we did a lot of work in that. So this is a part of the Kashmir File segment as well. Humasle Maheshwar Shab Shahi ki mandidam Humasle Maheshwar Shab Shahi ki mandidam Ghazan par charm dar barbud Shab Shahi ki mandidam Humasle Maheshwar Shab Shahi ki mandidam Zibasmash Jamai Bartan Sunarash Mar Bar Gardan Sunarash Mar Bar Gardan Ravanash Gang Barsar Shab Shahi ki mandidam Humasle Maheshwar Bhoot Shab Shahi ki mandidam Si chashmash bar jabin daurat Si mehro Maharoshan kar Si mehro Maharoshan kar Sikaran dast bast habud Shab Shahi मानसनी महेश्वर शबशाही की मंदीदम वजन पर चर्म दर शबशाही की
Obeisance to Lord Shiva.
It is such a long song that just because we have constraint of time, I just selected like 2 antaras to sing. Otherwise,
Yes,
we can just go on and on.
Yeah, but then again we have to. But this is a wonderful song. I mean, this should be part of our this living style. I mean, we must always use this song in our daily life because this is something. I mean, obeisance paid to a Lord Shiva, which is the ultimate of Trikashastra.
Yes.
And which Kashmiris, all Kashmiris, time immemorially, irrespective of what religions we are, they have a great obeisance for, love for. So I think bhav is there. There's a feeling. I think Vinayak Rajdan has very well translated it. I normally am not very fond of translations, but I think he has translated it. I feel like the bhav has come there.
Yes,
Anyway, let's go
absolutely.
ahead.
And sorry, I'm just going to, add a little bit. When I uploaded on YouTube this song, we have put a translation right beside the lyrics of the song, so
Who
that it's
translated?
very. I don't remember the name, but I can't
I think
quote. I don't
Vinayak
want
has
to
done the
remember it.
best work.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he
So
did
it
the
is. It is right next to the song. So it's so that it reaches every household and people know what the song is
Nowadays,
about.
this facility is there. I mean, we can do all these things, and earlier these things were not possible.
Yes.
Such a wonderful Leela devotional song by Ali Mardan Khan, a Turkish
Yes.
warlord. He was employed as a governor by Shah Jahan.
Yes.
A great combination, and we must always relish it. This part of our
Yes.
legacy. I would like just a brief. Archana ji, you are younger in age by all of them, but there were the great contemporaries who you heard about, and you must have, grown up listening to their songs. Like they had Nightingales of Kashmir, like Shamima Devji, and Kailash Mehra ji, Aarti Tikoo ji, Hassan Sufi ji. You already talked because you had a brief. We had a brief about Hassan Sufi when you
Yeah.
just recited one of his songs. And Vijay Malla ji. Yeah, give us a brief account of you as a singer, as a vocalist, as an artist, and as a listener as well. How do you define them?
They were beautiful. Their contribution to music is awesome.
Enormous.
That's what I. So, I remember these singers from my childhood. There used to be a program on radio. It was Aapki Farmaish.
Yes.
So these songs used to play every morning. There was a segment, and they used to play, and I had these songs like stuck in my subconscious mind. So even if I listen to them now, I remember, these were the songs from Farmaish, from Kashmir. So these singers have done a spectacular job, and they were good in their own genre. They, Vijay Mallaji was good. He had a different style of singing. Sophie Saab had his own style. So he was more rustic. He was more, he was there, and then there was Shamima ji, there was Kailaji, unique in their own style, beautiful songs, very popular. There was Aarti ji, Ghulam Nabi Sheikh Saab. There were so many singers that we had at that time, and everybody has influenced me in one way or the other. I still sing their songs. I love singing their songs because they're so close to my heart. And there are so many favorites of mine, of these singers, that I like to. My son sings Bedard Dadi Chane of Kailaji. And one day I remember we were in one of the concerts, a virtual concert, and Kailaji was there. It was a practice session. And when she was there, and my son came, and I told him to sing it in front of Kailaji, and she was so happy because he how kids are here in Canada, US, North America. They don't have a very great command on Kashmiri language, but he has memorized these 3-4 lines, and he loves to sing. He's humming. And my husband, he likes hearing these Kashmiri songs of these singers, Shamima ji, Vijay Malla ji. So They
Archana
are,
ji,
they're household names for us.
what about Raj Begum? I remember
Yes.
when in early ending 70s and at the beginning of 80s, my college days, we were very few Kashmiri knowing people in Jammu, so we were directly taken by this Pamposh program. In those times, was a
Yes.
very classy, it was very different, at a very different stature. So we had Phaya Shahryar and all these
Yeah.
people, Munshi Saab,
Yeah.
they used to teach us Kashmiri, and we used to get a comparing. And I used to play this song very well. Raj Begum ji ka song hai. It is written by Rasa Javedani.
Yes.
Bhadravahi poet, and
Yes.
poet.
Yes.
Let's give a tribute to Bhadrava as well, because Bhadrava too is an
Yeah.
area just connected with the Kashmiri ethos, and there's a Kashmiri language over there. So we are traveling in the time, and let's talk about the song. Let's sing a song, have a song of Raj Begum, and I think I really love that song, Mashraf Jana. If
Oh, wow.
you
Yes.
would like to do that,
Beautiful song. And Raji Begum was another legendary singer.
rustic, as you said, the word
Loved her
rustic.
voice.
She had that
Yes.
rustic
Absolutely.
innocence.
मशराब धस जाना से कर याद प्यामैबो मशराब धस जाना से कर याद प्यामैबो चुक अस वफा बीना से कर याद प्यामैबो मशराब धस जाना
Yes.
राधा ये जिगरस कालाई बाल मर्द गोस राधा ये जिगरस कालाई बाल मर्द गोस गोपाल कृष्ण कान से कर याद प्यामैबो गोपाल कृष्ण कान से कर याद प्यामैबो मशराब धस जाना
Beautiful, Archana ji, beautiful. I mean, you're so versatile. You're such a varietal. I mean, you can go from one end to another
My
end,
God, thank
from,
you so much.
from traditions to the folk to the classical. My goodness,
I'm still learning, Jugalji. I'm still learning. I have a long way to go.
you're blessed. You're a blessed one. I mean, you are to be. I mean, you are to be. I mean, we must all listen, and because you're still younger, and we had great legends in Kashmir. But this riwayat will continue because we have in between the people like your father. I mean, just I remember just because I'm very fond of some movies, and one of my favorite movies, Guide. And my favorite author, English author in India, was R.K. Narayanan. And R.K. Narayanan, he wrote Guide, and Guide was a beautiful film, and his philosophy was good. The actors were favorite. Everybody loves them. And Wahida is one of the most graceful lady, which my father loved, and I also love. She is such a graceful. She is such a graceful lady. Still,
My
at this,
dad loves her too. Wahida Rahman was one of her favorite actresses.
my dad and me, when we sit, mom used to tell, यार बाप बेटा दोनों एक ही को पसंद करते हैं. मैं क्या उनकी grace इतनी जबरदस्त है. उनकी grace
I
इतनी
know.
जबरदस्त. So the kind of women we had in that era, they were great. They had the motherhood, they had the femininity, they had this sublimity. But anyway, she was a very good dancer, and Vijay Anand made a marvel of that movie. I think I had heard that R.K. Narayan used to be always on the sets to see to it that anything doesn't go here and there. And they got the marvelous songs, like one I remember uh, we discussed the other day, Piya To Se Naina Lage Re. If you
Yes.
can just, how one rendition about this particular song, so we'll be all enthralled.
Yes. Of course, one of my favorite songs of Lataji.
Very great.
पिया तो से नैना लागे रे जाने क्या हो अब आगे रे नैना लागे रे पिया तो से नैना लागे रे रात को जब चांद चमके जल उठे मन मेरा मैं कहूँ मत कर ओ चंदा उस गली का तेरा रात को जब चांद चमके जल उठे मन मेरा मैं कहूँ मत कर ओ चंदा उस गली का फेरा आना मोरा सैया जब आई चमकना उस रात को जब मिलेंगे तन मन पिया तो से नैना लागे रे जाने क्या वो अब आगे रे आई होली सब ओ बिने तेरे होली बिना भाई अरे ओ भरी पिचकारी सखियों ने मारी ओ भीगी मोरी सारी हाय हाय रे तन बदन मोरा कांपे थर थर तिनक तिन तिन तिनक तिन 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 आहा पी ओ पिया आहा पी ओ पिया तो से नैना लागे रे जाने क्या हो अब आगे रे नैना लागे रे पिया तो से नैना लागे रे
That's real. That's real. What a rendition. Piya To Se Naina Lage Re, the ultimate classic. Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful song, beautiful presentation.
I mean,
On the film.
genius of Vijay Anand.
Yes.
It's like V. Shadaram. He goes into different dimensions of life.
Yeah.
I mean, V. Shadaram was in a raw form, but he was more sophisticated with gadgets.
Oh,
Almost
yeah.
it was similar. Bhav and presentation, and there was theatre into it. Thank you very much, Archana ji. You sang so well. It was such a wonderful, enthralling evening. But yes, I would like to say, I know that this should continue for more time, but then we have the constraints. But I would like you to have a rendition about one of the greatest poets of our time. It's one of my favorite, because uske barabar mein kisi ko nahi manta. That is Ghalib. असदुल्ला खान गालिब,
Mhm.
वली मारा के
Yes.
मोहल्ले की वो आंसी गलियां. So it's a beautiful. Gulzar has sung one song. I mean, in his remaking. Probably no, this man, what you call Jaggeet Singh, has
Yes.
composed one of his numbers. But I would like that you sing a song of Ghalib Saab, his kalam, his poetry, his eternal poetry.
दिले नादां तुझे हुआ क्या है,
Ah,
आखिर
yeah,
इस
yeah.
दर्द की दवा क्या है.
That's so beautiful.
दिले नादां तुझे हुआ क्या है, दिले नादां तुझे हुआ क्या है, आखिर इस दर्द की दवा क्या है, दिले हम हैं मुश्ताक और वो हम हैं मुश्ताक और वो या इलाही ये माजिदा क्या है, या इलाही ये माजिदा क्या है, दिले हमको सी वफा की है,
Beautiful.
हमको सी वफा की है, जो नहीं जानते
वफा क्या है?
वफा क्या है, दिले नादां तुझे हुआ क्या है, आखिर इस दर्द की दवा क्या है, दिले
Thanks a lot. Great rendition. Great rendition. Once again, an elevation. Ghalib की poetry फिर आपका गाना. Combination makes wonderful.
थैंक यू.
हमें मुश्ताक और वो बेजार, या इलाही माजरा क्या है,
क्या है?
हमें मुश्ताक और वो बेजार, जबकि तुझ बिन कुछ नहीं मौजूद, फिर ये हंगामाए खुदा क्या है. गालिब तो क्या बात है.
बहुत. मैं भी मुंह में जुबान रखता हूँ, काश पूछो कि
मुद्दा
मुद्दा
क्या है.
So beautiful. Very nice.
You must read his Masnavis on Benares, his songs on Benares.
Very versatile.
very different genre, very elevated personality. Anyway, thank you very much. It was a wonderful, enthralling journey today. We went through centuries, folk,
Yes.
traditional, ghazal. Yes, we didn't sing a ghazal song, but I don't know whether
Well,
should we
this was
go.
a ghazal, so let's name. Yeah, this was a ghazal, so we
This
did
was a
sing a
ghazal
ghazal.
actually, but you wanted another ghazal. I mean,
That's okay.
anyway,
There's always
I
a
think
next time.
ghazal is done now. Yeah. Would you
Yes,
like to sing that?
that's okay. We can always let's
We
keep
can
it
do
for
that.
next time.
Yes, yes, there is always next time.
There's always a next time.
Before you go, I would like that would you like to play a song for obeisance to Rahman Rahiji because he went into the eternal
Yes,
journey. One two liner, if you really
sure.
have Rahman Rahiji,
Yes,
a
yes,
tribute to
absolutely.
him.
Kathe myani ma shok mat dit dol.
Ah,
Yina chun dunya rozan vol. Ishq pe chanan rezipan khor. This song is from one of my recent albums, Baharav, written by Rahman Rahiji. So I will sing just a couple of lines to pay my tribute to this great legendary poet. Kathimyani ma shok mat dipdul. Kathimyani ma shok mat dipdul. Yina chud duniya rozan vol. Yina chud duniya rozan vol. रोज़न बोल अश्क पे जानन रज़्क़ान खोर अश्क पे जानन रज़्क़ान खोर ये ना चुन दुनिया रोज़न बोल ये ना चुन दुनिया रोज़न बोल Kathimyani ma shok mat dipdol. Sitte asiyavun niti arman. Zunigash sadras phul chuvatan. Zunigash sadras phul chuvatan. Mityasnat ad kalsan bol. Yina chun duniya rozan bol. Yina chun duniya rozan bol. Rozan bol. Kathimyani ma shok
thank you very much, Archana ji. It was a great tribute by a great eminent singer like you to a legend and the pillar, last abutment of Nadim era, the
Yes.
modern Kashmiri Renaissance, which started somewhere in the mid of 20th century. I think that breeze is gone, that era is gone now. But you are here, I mean, you reminded us we went through, crisscrossed through the centuries and had almost, it is also known as Sakshatkar. I
Yes.
mean, we had a kind of a, I mean, we met these metaphors, these imageries of these poetries, went through the centuries, ambled through the centuries through your melody, your blessed melody. I think it was a great basking, experience. We basked under the, resonances of
Thank you
your
so much. Thank you.
melody.
It was a pleasure for me to be on this show as well. You conducted so beautifully, Jugalji. My congratulations to you. I loved being a part of this show as well.
Thank you very much. In future, we'll have another. I had to ask you many things. अब भूल गए इतने प्यारे प्यारे song चल रहे थे तो. Anyway, I wish that you are doing a great work in Canada and you are teaching the young students there the music and you have done
Yes.
wonderful albums. Also, I'll explain in my footnote in the opening introduction as well. And I wish you do wonderful things and you keep yourself agile, active, and you keep on just enthralling us all, not only the Kashmiri diaspora, because music has no barriers, it has no boundaries, it can go, and you are a multilingual and a multi-genre singer. I wish you all the best with your
Thank you so
family in
much.
Canada, your
Thank you.
family, your guru, everybody, your father. Have a wonderful time, a wonderful day, wonderful life ahead. Best wishes that you came. I'm really grateful. My gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And namaskar to all my audience. Namaskar. Thank
Namaskar.
you.
Thanks a lot. So that was Archana Jalali, the famed singer of contemporary times. And it was really, I felt it as very enthralling musical night. And we almost recreated the history. We went through the centuries and we talked about many, many institutions. She's blended and blessed with wonderful voice, a wonderful gifted melody, and as well as she has been trained under the Jalali Saab's, that it is tutelage, and she's refined. She has the eloquence, and she's the brilliant. And I think the Saraswati, this blessings of Saraswati will be with her, and she'll continue for decades together, for times ahead, many, I mean, decades and periods ahead. She will keep on enthralling people. And this voyage of music is ultimately nothing. As I said it, Khalil Gibran's earlier, the opening note, it is nothing but your connection with the spirit. It's nothing but the elevation. Thank you very much. I want to again, she had already sung a song, a Ghalib Ghazal. I would like to again decode because I'm in habitual of speaking Ghalib couplets. Ghalib couplets. तो जबकि तुझ बिन कुछ नहीं मौजूद, जबकि तुझ बिन कुछ नहीं मौजूद, तो फिर ये हंगामा है खुदा क्या है. With that wonderful couplet, we say Shabak Khair, good night, namaskar to everyone. It was really grateful to see you all glued into this Shetalat Conversations historic 81st show. Thank you very much and good night.